guys, it's Maggie. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about books that were released earlier this year in 2019 that I do not own or do not read. So for those of you who don't know, I have been on a book buying ban for about almost a full year. Not really. I think it started in like February or something, because I think the last book I bought was King of Scars. But I have slowly worked my TBR down to 30 books ish, something like that. So I'm going to be starting to get new releases to add to my TBRs every month because I need them in my life and I don't have them and it's bothering me. So when's the last time I went to a bookstore? That being said, make sure you stick around to hear what I haven't read and what I want to read, and hit the like button if you like my videos, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you stick around. I found a list of YA novels of 2019 on Goodreads, and I'm going to be scrolling through it until I find some that I haven't read yet. And I'm not going to be including actual series. The Wicked King by Holly Black is on this. I haven't read the first book in that series, so I'm not going to be including it. Obviously, I haven't read the second one if I haven't read the first. So these are all books that I should be reading, but I haven't. So the first one I see on this list is Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell, which is the sequel to Carry On, which Carry On My Wayward Son, Supernatural. Sorry, I got off track about that. This book came out this week. This book came out about 5 days ago. And here's the thing, I didn't even know it was out until I went on Twitter and everybody was talking about it and I had to flee the internet to avoid spoilers. So I'm gonna have to buy that book. The next book I see on this list is Aurora Rising by Jay Kristoff. I don't know a lot about this book. I know it came out earlier this year. It came out May 7th, so right before I graduated college. I am really interested in this novel because I loved The Illuminae Files, which is a sci-fi trilogy by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, so I'm gonna need to read this soon. Of course, I have Again But Better by Christine Riccio, also known as Pole and Bananas Books here on BookTube. I have not read her debut novel yet, and I feel like I might be the only booktuber out there that hasn't read it. I've heard nothing but good things, but of course it came out while I was on my book buying ban, so I will have to get it soon. The next two will be shocking to people, and that is The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Defy Me by Taheda Mafi. I'm a huge fan of the Mortal Instruments series as well as the Shatter Me series, so for me not to have read these, which I believe both came out in March. Oh, they were both in April. I don't know time. I haven't read either of these. But also, once I get Red Scrolls of Magic, I'm gonna have to, and same with Defy Me actually, and Wayward Son, now that I look at my shelves, redo everything because the books line up perfectly on the shelf and I won't have room for another Mortal Instruments book. But I'm gonna have to do that anyway when Chain of Gold comes out. Next is The Princess and the Fangirl by Ashley Poston. This is the sequel to Geekerella. I believe maybe it's not a sequel, more like a companion novel to Geekerella, which I loved, but I listened to Geekerella on audiobook, so I don't have a physical copy of it. I might do the same with Princess and the Fangirl, but I'm not too sure yet. Let's see, when did this one come out? April. Wow, I'm doing great here. Next is Ghosts of the Shadow Market by Cassandra Clare. However, I have read the first 8 stories that were released separately, so technically I'm like 80% through the book. I just have to get to the last 2 stories, which is in the actual hard copy of the book, and that came out in June. So at least I'm halfway there, over halfway there. How many books are being released this year? Next is Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. This is a really cool contemporary story, basically where a boy meets a girl at a party and then she dies and he goes back in time to prevent her death over and over again. And it really reminds me of the Mystery Spot episode of Supernatural season 3. I can't remember the exact episode number. That was a really good episode and one of my favorites. So I really want to read this even though this has nothing to do with Supernatural. But this came out in March. And here I am, haven't read it. I lost count of how many books we're at. I'm not going to be counting books that haven't come out yet, like Supernova, because that'll be out in November and I'm probably definitely going to be buying it by then. The next book I see here on this list is Frankly in Love by David Yoon. I really want to read this one. It's a cute contemporary novel, fake dating, what more could I say? And my camera is going to die, so I'm going to leave that there. So thank you guys so much for watching and listening to me talk about books I should have already bought and read but haven't. I also want to do a video like this for the books on my TBR cart, which go all the way back to like 2014 that I haven't read. So that'll be fun to just continue to roast myself. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you next week. Bye!